with Micky Dolenz, who's kicking off the Flower and Power concert series at Epcot's International Flower and Garden Festival. Micky, it is such an honor for me to be speaking with you today.
Well, thank you very much. I remember you. Weren't we trapped in an elevator when you were 2?
Why, yes. Yes, we were.
I know. I'm psychic, or actually psychotic, but it's similar kind of thing.
They're both very endearing qualities. So I'm wondering, what is it like? I mean, obviously, your band has been around since the 60s and through the 70s, but to be here in the new millennium and still see that you have such a very active fan base.
Well, it's wonderful. It's very flattering. I feel blessed. I put it down to lots of things, starting with the music and specifically with the writers. I dedicate my shows to the writers of the songs that wrote for me specifically, people like Carole King and Neil Diamond and Harry Nilsson and Paul Williams and Boyce and Hart and, these incredible songwriters. So starting with the song and then, of course, the production, the music, the arrangements, the vocals, all of that too, of course. And so that, great songs tend to stand up over the eons,
As do great performers.
Well, thank you.
Speaking of which, your time with the group, do you have any favorite memories, either from the concerts that you did or your TV shows that you did, or maybe even a tale of a wild, crazy fan that did something a little bit out of the ordinary?
Probably so many. How many? You got a couple of months? The whole experience was phenomenal. I mean, but also it's a bit of a blur. It happened in a very short period of time. The original Monkey Mania. It was only a couple of years, and then in '86 we got back together, and it was even bigger. I mean, it was huge in '86, that reunion tour. And ever since, even this last tour that Mike and Peter and I did just a few months ago, it was crazy. They had to block off streets in New York outside the venue we weren't expecting it. They weren't expecting it. It was just crazy. There's something about that, the Monkey thing, and it was a lot of people besides the 4 of us. Like I say, the songwriters, but also the producers, the musicians, besides us, of course, the guest stars on the show, the writing of the show, the producing of the show, the whole thing. It added up, and the whole became greater than the sum of its parts.
It's so exciting to see that, in just like you were saying, in those few years, you were able to establish yourself as a staple in America's pop culture history. But aside from that, you all had personal lives. Word on the street is, and I think this is fitting with the Flower and Garden Festival theme, that you have a garden of your own. How does gardening fit into the lifestyle of a monkey?
Well, it's funny, but you'd be surprised how many of my contemporaries and people in the same business love gardening. I mean, there's a famous British comedian named Billy Connolly. I don't know if you've heard the name, but that's all he does is garden. And there was somebody else that I was talking to not long ago, and I can't remember. I'm embarrassed that I can't remember who it is. Somebody very famous of my ilk. That is, we were talking about gardening constantly, about how to do elevated beds for vegetables to keep out the rodents. I don't know, it's a therapeutic. I've always done it long before the Monkees. But I also have a woodworking shop. I also do woodworking. I build fine furniture.
Really?
Yeah. And but you'd be surprised. And I play golf. Well, you probably know how many rock and rollers play golf, starting with Alice Cooper. Who would have thunk?
You gotta find something to do to calm the crazy, right?
Yeah, and I think it's something that, it's something to calm the crazy. It's something that is totally opposite from what you do do for your living,
Well, lastly, I'm sure fans such as myself are all wondering, can we expect to see you at future Flower and Garden Festivals?
Well, that's up to Disney, so I hope so. Put in a good word for me. I would love to do it every year, of course. It's a wonderful, wonderful, can you imagine? What a wonderful place. My whole family, I bring my family, they're all out over, eating, cotton candy and on the rides and stuff like that. So it's an ideal venue to play for a family man,
Well, you definitely have my vote. Okay. Thank you so much for your time.